Hey kids, Hugh here for Roaddogs Travels. Ever since this whole pandemic nonsense has put the kibosh on any serious road trips, Miss Lynn and I have adapted by taking one-day adventures, and you would be amazed at how far you can travel and how much you can see in the course of one day. So come along and we will show you as we go on the Lake Isabella Loop, a 347-mile road trip that if you start early enough, you'll be home in time for a little binge watching on Netflix. We like to take off early, so at 6:30 we are on the road. The first 70 or so miles are freeway northbound on the 5. It does not take long to get out of the city. This route takes us through the northern part of the Traverse mountain ranges of Southern California, past Pyramid Lake, which is fuller than I have ever seen it. The last drought must have taught the state something. Just before heading down the Grapevine into the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, you will pass Fort Tejon, which we showed you on the Great American Eclipse Adventure back in 2017. The San Joaquin Valley was once the breadbasket of the world, but it has suffered greatly during the 7-year drought that ended in 2017. Many farms went under during that time. And then, just as the ones that survived were about to make their comeback, they got devastated again by this pandemic. This overgrown vineyard is one of the latest to suffer. Once you get into the flatlands, there's a turnoff for Lake Isabella, and it doesn't take long before you're at the entrance of the Kern River Canyon. As you enter, the road becomes one lane, narrow, and very curvy. If you visit here during the summer, you will be lucky to find a place to park, as every turnout will be filled. This portion of the river is very popular, but it should be pointed out it is also very dangerous. On average, 7 people a year drown, and there is a warning sign with a total body count going back to the 60s. Like I said, the road is narrow, and in spite of the dangers, it is a lovely drive. When you get about halfway through the canyon, there's an opportunity to take the old road. If you suddenly find yourself crossing the river and the road is on the left and the river on the right, you passed it. If, however, you see it, take it. We always enjoy the roads less traveled, and believe me, this one qualifies. It stays high above the river the rest of the way through the canyon. When we got to Lake Isabella, we were somewhat disappointed because it was extremely low, so this is the only picture of the lake. So here we are at our initial destination, and it was only 10 a.m. So we went to Nelda's restaurant, ordered some breakfast, and went to a park to eat. As you head east out of Lake Isabella on Highway 178, you travel over Walker Pass and down the mountain. Along the way, you will pass through areas with diverse and interesting geology and patches of Joshua trees. And before you know it, you're in the Mojave Desert and Antelope Valley looms ahead. As you go south on Highway 14 and head towards home, we have one more stop just ahead. You don't have to travel to Utah to hike in some fantastic rock formations. Come to Red Rock Canyon. Believe me, you can spend a lot of time exploring this area, and it has one of the coolest campgrounds anywhere. Just remember to bring plenty of water with you. The desert can be a brutal place. From here, we have 2 hours of freeway driving and we're home. So there you have it, kids, 347 miles, and the only contact with others was takeout in Lake Isabella. Definitely kept our social distance, got our heads out of the apartment for a little clearing, and it was a beautiful drive. 8.5 hours. It was absolutely lovely. Perfect get out of the house adventure for this crazy time in history. It may raise your carbon footprint a little bit, but it'll do your head a world of good. We will be posting more of these one-day adventures, so come back often. And until next time, this is Hugh saying so long.